And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, all about helping you win, making you more street smart as a consumer, and helping you understand your buying decisions here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Almost 10 years on air here locally in Tampa Bay. Real excited about that. And thank you so much for tuning in. And reach out to the hotline. We'd love to connect with you and put you in touch with our 80 different categories of consumer advocates. We're talking about attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, doctors, all types of great people that can help you with whatever you're facing out there. Chances are we've got a great expert contributor here locally. So support the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show. 813-917-1894. You can call or text the hotline 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And we got a great lineup for you today. Here later on in the show, we're going to have Ray Hall Appraisals. He's a real estate valuation expert. We also have Collin Dees in the house, Institute of Vitality. So we're going to talk about some of the experiences I've had so far with the Institute of Vitality right here in Tampa Bay, South Tampa. Also at the same office as Dr. Doug Arbonitis, who you've heard on the program many times. And we're going to kick off here with Captain Will Smith in just a moment. He was down south and has been helping out for the last 5 to 7 days, helping out down south with some of the hurricane recovery efforts, and we're going to get a live look from him down on scene. Before we do, let you know about a couple of hot listings. We like to feature our real estate listings live on air. We help our sellers maximize the exposure, the profit on the sale of their real estate property. So we got a hot property listing here at 7941 58th Avenue North. This is unit number 203. This is a great opportunity in the Five Towns neighborhood community, and it's a great opportunity to own real estate here in Tampa Bay. This is a one-bedroom, one-bath, 840 square foot home. Very affordable, listed at around $140,000. Got all white cabinets and appliances. Beautiful property here. Got a gorgeous view as well. There's a water view in the back and a screened-in lanai. You can see all the beautiful photography compliments of Fabre Frameworks. Over 100 pictures, total of 100 pictures overlooking the beautiful pool area and the waterway. 7941 58th Avenue North, unit number 203. One of our hot listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 3362 Cedar Crest Loop. This is another gorgeous property that we've got listed here. Now, this one up in Pasco, Hernando County. 3362 Cedar Crest Loop. This is in Spring Hill. 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2,433 square feet. Got a 3-car garage, pool home. And you also have lots of updates, lots of upgrades. Beautiful pool with a spa combination. What I love about this home, too, is you've got the extra size large lots in this community. It's a gated community with low HOA fees. Beautiful home at 3362 Cedar Crest Loop in Spring Hill. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Captain Will Smith on the show, longtime contributor of the program. What are you seeing down there, man?
Well, it's crazy, Brandon. Last time I saw a disaster this bad hurricane-wise is when I was over helping out the good people over in the Bahamas over at Marsh Harbor. Their areas are completely just decimated. I don't know if anybody knows the square down at Fort Myers. It's gone. There's nothing left. There's nothing but concrete foundation. The pier, absolutely gone. There's nothing left but pylons. There's a lot of stuff you're not hearing on the news that we're hearing here because we're right in ground zero. Where we was with our family, and they were down right off of Summerlin. The people know the Fort Myers area, right before you cross the bridge, go to Fort Myers Beach. That was where most of the flooding was. My father-in-law, he had about a 12-foot tidal surge. He was already on 5-foot pylons, and he still got 3 feet of water on the first floor. He lost the people in that area lost everything. As we were doing the cleanup, FEMA, and of course, the first responders are around, and I could hear them over talking that they had to order another 500 body bags. Wow. What you're not hearing in the news right now, they're saying, "Oh, it's only 75 people." That's not even 1% of the lives that were lost. One of the reasons they closed off when we had boots on the ground here with the reserves was because when you have something this bad, and I'm not trying to be graphic, I'm just trying to give your audience an idea of how bad it really is. When you have a title surge like that, it's 12 to 15 feet. Well, it's wiping out people while they're in their houses. There are a lot of people wanted, to stay behind, not understanding this was a 100-year storm, which was one of the most severe storms that this side of the state has ever seen next to Andrew.
Yeah.
And the houses were washed out with people in them. Well, once the people, of course, drown, their bodies start bloating from the gases inside, and they surface and wash up on the beach.
Wow.
Well, that's why they were going out with their helicopters. They shut down the beach. They shut down Pine Island. They shut down Captiva Island, Sanibel, to recover these because obviously it's a huge health risk. You did hear a lot about it on the news, but I'm telling you firsthand what was going on, what we were talking with the first responders. We did get a lot of people from Tampa that came down, a lot of donations that came down, which is much appreciative from everyone up there to help out. We had a lot of people, even yourself, you came down to help out your family, that left the convenience and the comforts of their home, electricity, and we take these things for granted, Brandon. I haven't had a warm shower in 7 days. I've been living in an area, it's kind of like camping out. We don't have electricity. We don't have air conditioning, running water. These are the necessities just to flush the toilet. When you're bailing, and people are literally bailing the flood waters out of their ditches so they could use the restroom.
Wow.
Sewer systems backing up to where you have brown water, and the smell is just atrocious. But there was a lot of life lost. There was a lot of homes lost. The modular home communities took the worst hit. This particular part of Fort Myers got the 150-mile-an-hour sustained winds gusting over that, and it was just ripped those homes to pieces.
Yeah.
Even the newer construction homes, if you had shingles on your house, they were ripped completely off. There was one neighborhood that had the hurricane shingles, which are those clay shingles. They really weathered the storm really well. Besides the trees and stuff, but there were boats that were floating, that landed in people's yards that came maybe a mile or two from where they were anchored or harbored.
Originated, yeah. Let me ask you a question. So, a lot of the properties, a lot of the homes that got knocked down, were those thick built? And then, if so, were there any concrete block structures that were not knocked down next to the? So I'm trying to get a contrast there.
Well, yeah, the contract, any house built before the new 2010 Florida Building Code, those are the ones you saw got a little bit more damage. After that, Andrew and all those came through, the 2010 Building Code required them to have a little bit more substantial, like CMU walls. The concrete masonry unit, or CMU houses, the first story, they handled the winds and the rains, but this was more of a flood event. And the flood waters didn't wash it away, but it destroyed everything inside.
Yeah.
So, even though they were protected from strong winds, because they have shear walls that are built with these CMUs, and they were protected from the rain, they were not protected from the flood water. And you really can't, unless you have a watertight house, you can't protect yourself, or you're up on stilts.
Right.
I saw some houses that were on 10-foot pylons. They survived. Everything underneath was destroyed, but out of my wife's family, they lost three. Her father lost his entire towing company, 3 wreckers, and between the 3 families, 7 cars were destroyed. While I was down here, I went and rented a car for one of the family members. We got one of the cars, her dad's car, Dodge truck, started, even though it had partial flooding. The darn thing still started. So wow. We got some new tires on it. We kind of using that to kind of move things around. And I was down here. My big thing when I first got down here, they had no fuel, so we brought about 35 gallons of gas down to get their generators going. I brought tons of ice from up north so they could at least keep their perishables chilled. And for the first 2 days, I was doing ice runs and gasoline runs because that was the 2 main necessities. Gasoline, A, to try to keep the refrigerators that were, high enough above that it can get flooded out refrigerated, and B, having the ice available, to keep things cool. It was a disaster zone, and it was I was running. Eric and I were doing 12, 15-hour days every day for the past 6 days.
Wow. Well, bless your heart. Thanks for going down there. Captain Will Smith on the Consumer Quarterback Show updating us from South Florida. He was right in the middle of it, right there off of, I think, the north side of Fort Myers, Cape Coral area, close to Pine Island. And, yeah, similar story. You know, dad lost his home, brother lost his home potentially. I mean, it might be able to be rebuilt, but I guess that's the next step. FEMA's going to go in and say, hey, this one's habitable, this one's not, and then they're going to determine, if they're going to have to move or not. But if you have donations and you want to donate, you can drop off donations at the Keller Williams office on US 19 North in Clearwater. It's 30522 US 19 North in Clearwater. It's right at the corner of Curlew Road in Clearwater. Big Keller Williams office. You can drop donations off there, and we're running trucks down almost every day, it seems, dropping trucks and taking perishables. I have heard they don't need generators anymore. They've got plenty of generators. What I've heard is they need baby wipes, baby diapers, feminine products, any type of perishables. Of course, canned foods are always good, things of that nature. But yeah, Captain, final thoughts back to you, man.
Yeah, the generators, they've got plenty of those. The Ace Hardware's open now. The Lowe's are open. The gas stations are opening up, so that need is not there as it used to be. I do know a lot of the people down here, especially the ones of the lifers, the Florida crackers, as they say, that lived here all their lives. Some of the homes down there, when they increased the flood insurance, it was so high they couldn't afford it, so they had to drop it. And this affected tens of thousands of people that just could not afford flood insurance, and unfortunately, they have a total loss. Some of the homes that we talked to, with the people just bumping into them that my father-in-law knew, they had homes down, right there at the beach. These wouldn't even insure. So they had a total loss, and they have to rebuild out of their own pocket. So the insurance thing is big, and FEMA is their only lifeline to getting some of this stuff covered. So I hope FEMA steps to the plate and helps these guys out, these families out down here that had a total loss without having the flood insurance because they couldn't afford it. And I asked them, I was like, well, how much could it really be? And just for the rider alone, they were wanting $9,000 a year.
Wow.
For flood insurance, and they're like, we can't afford that. We can't afford it. And if you could afford it, you had to have a $20,000 deductible.
Yeah, I mean that's close to $1,000 a month, and it doesn't make sense at all to have that high a deductible. Where you're going to be bankrupt anyways.
Exactly. So, and that's the heart. So I hope that $18.8 billion that was released goes to these people that had a total loss in their businesses and their homes.
Yeah,
because these are just your regular hard-working middle-class people that have just lost everything now. And I'm praying that this is not a smoke and mirrors routine, and that $18.8 billion goes to the people that need it here in the Fort Myers.
Yeah. And not to Ukraine. We're enough money's gone to Ukraine.
Exactly.
Send it down south. Send it where it needs to go. Send it to the inner cities of the war zones of the Democrat-run cities. And then also, when you think about the VP comments, I don't know if you saw that. You probably haven't watched much TV lately, but Kamala Harris makes comments about, we're going to distribute resources based on equity, and it's going to be the minority gets the materials first, et cetera. Just that to play that kind of politics in the middle of a major event, a storm, and these people losing their lives. So what does that mean there, Kamala? Are you going to drive past a white person's house to go to the, come on, give me a break.
Yeah, I know. We had that opportunity also, Brandon. I went out for a day and distributed 250 sandwiches to the lower income areas, the Hispanic areas, the communities that were needing the food. And it broke my heart because we had ladies and mothers and children come run up to us. They were just starving and they were crying. I had this one lady, she broke out her crucifix and blessed us as we were handing out food. And these are the people that are forgotten.
Yep.
And these are the people who went and made sure they had something to eat. And we gave them more than one bag. We're like, look, here, take two per person.
Yeah.
Because I don't know when someone's going to be able to get back down here to give you some food again.
Right.
So we went through the neighborhoods and just we're helping everyone that we possibly could, and they were very, very appreciative of it. And it's just we need more people to get down there and try to feed these communities, because these people they're literally, the houses were destroyed inside, windows gone, doors gone, CMU walls are still there, but everything else is gone, and they had tents in their front yard. And they had, they were using the bathroom in 5-gallon paint buckets.
Yeah.
So it was, it was hard to see, but these are the communities that this money needs to go to, and not to some rich person.
Yeah. So reach out to the show. We'll put you in touch. We'll get you a link. We'll text you over a link where you can donate. You can if you want to get involved, 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. Send an email there as well, 813-917-1894, brimes@kw.com. Captain Will, thanks a lot. Appreciate the update, man.
All right, brother. Take care.
Take care. All right. Coming back, we've got Collin Deese, Institute of Vitality. We're going to talk about hormone levels, testosterone, health, nutrition. We're going to get into that new weight loss products that they just launched. And by the way, Fox News did a special on this. There's a national don't know not a pandemic, but a national potential for, we're losing our testosterone as Americans, Colin. I want to come back and talk about that here with Collin Deese on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. Any of our listeners out there, we'll offer you a 2% listing for the first 3 callers that reach out to the hotline, 813-917-1894. Call or text the hotline, 813-917-1894. Also, a great opportunity for folks out there looking for a part-time gig, maybe a side hustle, is Keller Williams Real Estate School, powered by Kaplan. Reach out if you'd like more information on how we have a free real estate school for you, online class, get licensed, and start referring business in, or maybe make a new career. 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com for our syndicated radio and TV show on 80 outlets worldwide, consumerqb.com, or our real estate website at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. And please follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram, Twitter, Getter, and check out our YouTube channel, Brandon Rhymes Realty. Make it a great day. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show. Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
We're back. Brandon Rhymes here. Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, always helping you win in any marketplace. We love to do that. And we bring on all the best expert contributors, folks, in all of these different areas across the financial, the real estate, the home services. We talk to Second Amendment experts, Thomas King, Florida Firearms. So many different ways we help you here on the show. And it's up to you to reach out. So we'd love to talk to you. Reach out to the program, consumerqb.com. And we are welcoming in Collin Deese, Institute of Vitality. First time in the program. Welcome in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah, give a little background, too, because you are a PA, right?
Yeah, physician assistant.
Okay.
So my original experience, I have 2 years experience in surgery, but I'm more health-minded. I'm more preventive-minded, really into nutrition. And so, working for the Institute of Vitality, now I get to really work on that side of medicine rather than, fix the problem after it's occurred, we can
Right.
start to prevent these problems.
Yeah, that's a big thing. A lot of people love that mentality and have that mindset, So before the break, I kind of teased that Fox News special, Tucker Carlson. There's a nationwide, not pandemic, but a nationwide potential, where we're seeing lower testosterone generation after generation. So that is what's the effects of having low testosterone? Why don't we start there?
Yeah, so exactly what you're saying is correct. It's a consistent, steady decline in testosterone and sperm counts, and there's something going on in the country. It's very evident. But that it's also something you feel as a man, right? Testosterone is so vital for so many functions of your body. So energy, sex drive, motivation. Testosterone is important for dopamine production. So that's that get up and go, the drive to go get things done. So a lot of times men will feel depressed, like they don't have a mission, and that's what testosterone is so important for. It's also important for insulin sensitivity. We know insulin resistance is one of the main drivers of chronic disease. We also know that maintaining a lower body fat and having a little more muscle mass helps you with longevity, and so testosterone optimal levels are important for that.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of turned me back onto it? I had my heart surgery a couple years ago. Actually, October 16th will be 2 years exactly. So, I'm kind of looking at that, and I was, I was on it before, and then I got off, and I was reading Tony Robbins' book Life Force, and he kind of breaks down, and he's like, he's talking about testosterone and how can something that's already in your body be bad for you? Because there's some naysayers that say, well, this it's really not proven, this and that, or different things that they might say. But his point was, by having the optimal levels, you're able to basically just be that much better of a human being, have all your functions operating optimally, and then so we can can you riff on that a little bit? What's the appropriate levels to be at, et cetera?
Yeah, it's a great point what you say, and we stress the importance of bioidentical hormones, right? Because it mimics exactly what your body's already producing. It's not a foreign substance, so your body recognizes this. Now, we're not going to give you this huge elevated amount. We have a pretty good idea of what the optimal range is and where you start to see some detriments if you get too high. So we're never going to put you in an unsafe range. We're going to put you in that kind of upper quartile, that optimal range.
Yeah.
And that's where guys feel their best.
Yeah, and you do the blood test, so you have your baseline. You come in, you get your baseline. So yeah, my experience with the Institute of Vitality. By the way, they're right at Del Mabry Avenue, 502 South Del Mabry, where Pro Health is located as well. Dr. Doug Arvanitis. But yeah, you come in, you get your baseline. You get your shots. You get your testosterone prescribed to you, and it's very easy to do and to get that going. And so yeah, I'm interested to see when the blood work comes back. What level I'm at, because I think I was a little bit low when we first tested. But yeah, to be at that optimal level, you feel better. And I was mentioning to you kind of off air where I went back into the gym for the first time in a while, and I started doing the leg press machine and just having, when you're exercising those large muscle groups, the thighs, the quads, the calves, that lower body, the glutes, your buttocks, I mean, you're just releasing that extra. Can you talk a little bit about, how that affects your body? It seems, because it feels like that's releasing extra testosterone throughout the body.
Well, yeah, I first want to touch on, before you were talking about how you've got all this stuff going on right now. You got a baby, you're busy with the show, you got a lot going on. And when your testosterone is at its best, at its peak, you're a better father, you're a better husband.
Right.
All of these things, you're at your best. And that's necessary. And so a lot of times it's funny, we'll see men come in with their wives, and their wives will be like, get him on testosterone because he won't get off the couch.
Yeah.
He has no sex drive. And it's just funny. So... But yeah, exercise is very important for testosterone, and squatting especially, those big compound movements, they drive so many muscles.
Yeah.
It helps with the production of testosterone.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back more with Colin Deese, Institute of Vitality, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to talk about that we're going to continue on this line of testosterone and how it might affect you and might help you, and offer consultation. You can go down and talk to them and get a consultation right there in South Tampa. So we'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll let you know about an event coming up. Shout out to Kevin Jackson. He has his Unapologetically American Comedy Tour coming up here to St. Petersburg. It's going to be at the Palladium Theater on October 20th. It's on 5th Avenue North. $50 general ticket gets you in the door. They also have a $150 VIP experience where you can meet the 3 comedians. Unapologetically American Comedy Tour coming up on the 20th, October 20th. 5:30 p.m. over at the Palladium Theater in St. Petersburg. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be on stage. I'm going to be unveiling a new comedic act. Just kidding. I'm going to be doing the Pledge of Allegiance. But yeah, so I'll be there, and we're going to have some fun. And I look forward to hearing all the great comedians. And that's something I really respect, getting on stage and just being able to riff like that, telling jokes and, getting that response from the crowd. That's a special skill set. So shout out to Kevin Jackson. Please support Kevin and his Unapologetically American Comedy Tour coming up to the Palladium Theater, St. Petersburg, October 20th. All right, so we got Collin Deese, Institute of Vitality here in studio. Before we jump right back into that, I want to let you know about a couple of hot listings that we've got here in South Tampa. 1605 South Georgia Avenue is a beautiful South Tampa property. This is 1,500 square feet, just shy of 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. Hyde Park location. You're in the Plant High School District. Stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, walking distance to Bayshore Boulevard and South Howard Avenue. Great opportunity to own real estate. Great Airbnb rental, VRBO rental. 1605 South Georgia Avenue in Tampa. One of our hot real estate listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. All right, we got another property here at 219 Castle Keeper. This is a entry-level home. Just did a price reduction on it, about $10,000 price reduction at 219 Castle Keeper Place in Valrico, Florida. 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, townhome with a bonus room, and lots of updates and beautiful community pool, resort-style community pool, lush landscaping, and plenty of parking for you and your guests. 219 Castle Keeper Place, Valrico. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Let's continue our conversation here with Colin Deese. He is a physician's assistant, Institute of Vitality, and we're talking about some of the symptoms that patients come in. Can you give us maybe a success story of somebody that you've been working with for a while, or something that kind of comes to mind when you think about somebody maybe that came in with low testosterone, they're feeling down, they're just not having the energy, the vitality, as you mentioned, the wife might be complaining a little bit, and then over to you.
Well, there's just so many. It's hard to think of a specific one off the top of my head, but some of the things that we see, men get back in the gym after a long time of not going to the gym because they have that energy again. And testosterone makes it easier to put on muscle and lose fat. So a lot of times what you see, we fix their diets up a little bit. I give them a nutrition plan to follow. They lose weight. Their blood glucose comes down. Inflammation markers come down. Energy levels go up. They feel more productive in their work. So that's a lot of cases.
Yeah, I like that. And I also, in that book, it was in Tony's book, it talked about some of these other supplements, because I'm big on, key supplements too. So he talked about NAD. Can you tell me about that? A little bit about NAD, because I think I'm taking a 300 milligram. But it from what I understand, the base knowledge from just a real estate guy here is the NAD fuels the mitochondria on a cellular level. So that's going to help boost your overall performance too.
Yeah, so in my free time, I do a lot of reading on these kinds of topics because it's fascinating, right? Yeah. Life extension. And so the mitochondria are extremely important for your health. So mitochondrial dysfunction is actually linked to insulin resistance. Mm-hmm. And so there's this important ratio called NAD to NADH ratio. And we often see that the higher the NAD and the lower the NADH, your mitochondria are functioning better, and thus you're living longer. And so right now, that's what they're trying to find is what's the best route. So there's IV NAD, there's injectable, there's nicotinamide mononucleotide, which is an oral that you can take. That's a really good one. But yeah, these are all implicated in life extension. The research is still pretty young on it. but it's cool to see it happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I ordered it off of, the A word, I don't even like to say the name because it's such a big company, but, when I got the box, it's like, oh, congratulations, you bought this product and it has all these benefits and it's, got 20 different patents, et cetera. So NAD, and then, one of the things when I had my test, some of my blood testing done years ago, they said, well, you're low in vitamin D. And I was like, wait, how can that be? I live in Florida. I'm outside by the pool a lot. I'm on the boat. But yeah, so some people have deficiencies in certain vitamins, and then you turn me on to K2, which is a complementary to D3. Mm-hmm. So really, it's like this big, chemical experiment almost, right? It's like you got to have everything optimal levels, just like you might test your pool water and add a little bit of this, take away a little chlorine, et cetera, right? And
we talked about kind of the right forms of these vitamins, right? A lot of people will just go to Costco and buy the whatever their brand name multivitamin is, but that ends up in just having expensive, colorful urine because nothing is absorbed. And so, supplements and the ingredients in them are extremely important.
Yeah, yep. So making sure you have those different. So let's talk about this new weight loss products you got as well. Semaglutide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so semaglutide actually was originally developed as a type 2 diabetes medication. It's what's called a GLP-1 agonist. So it's acting in your gut, in the hormones in your gut. And what this does is it kind of slows digestion of food. It makes you feel fuller for longer.
Okay.
And so it did really well in the studies to bring down A1C and blood glucose because you're not getting those big spikes.
Right.
But they also were finding that these patients in the trials were losing a ton of weight because they had no appetite. And so now it's being marketed as a weight loss drug, and everyone and their brother is trying to get a hold of it. It is the premier weight loss drug on the market, the most effective on the market.
That's awesome, man. Colin Deese, Institute of Vitality. What's your social? What's your website?
So the Institute of Vitality.com, or just instituteofvitality.com. The best way to get a hold of us is just call. I'll answer the phone. We'll set up an appointment. And we'll go from there. I'll get you set up with a consultation.
Perfect. 502 South Del Mabry, right here in South Tampa. So, Colin, thanks for coming in.
Thanks a lot.
And we'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it.
All right. Hey, taking a quick break there. When we come back, we've got Ray Hall Appraisals. He's a real estate valuation expert. So we're going to talk about real estate, the market. And believe me, it's not all doom and gloom like you hear on some of these news outlets. They're talking more about national news or maybe the interest rates increasing. But the numbers will prove to you coming up next that the numbers are still strong. It's a strong seller's market. Yes, days on market are adding up. Absorption rate is there, but we'll talk more about that. We're going to talk with that Ray Hall Appraisals here. Plus, feel good story of the day coming up. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, in studio with Martin Gramatica, that is, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl winner. Lifeguard Imaging, lifeguardimaging.com, saving lives through early detection.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Yes, that's what we're doing at Lifeguard Imaging. You come in asymptomatic, and that's what we do. You're being proactive. You're coming in. We do a scan from the neck to the pelvis. It's a full body scan. It's a 3D image of every organ, and that's where 90% of the deadliest cancers are, in our mid region. So we can see everything. But for your listeners, we have a real good special. We have a $599 value, absolutely complimentary. They can come in for a coronary artery scan, which will give you their calcium score, 100% complimentary for your people.
Very cool. Hey, take them up on that offer, 813-917-1894. Call or text, complimentary scan, 813-917-1894, and check them out online, lifeguardimaging.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
You're
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Every day we like to tell you something positive in our feel-good story of the day. So here we go.
Tell me something good.
All right, so this is cool. A mom runs hair salon inside a hospital to pamper parents of NICU babies. So the mom of a former NICU baby has opened a hair hospital salon to spoil other parents of high-risk newborns. Sarah Pulley knows NICU inside and out. 4 years ago, her daughter Amelia was premature and born and spent 4 months in a neonatal intensive care unit at 2 different hospitals in Indianapolis. When Pulley heard that Riley Children's Health wanted to open a hair salon and wanted to fit it in one of its family rooms, she was excited. She said, "I knew this could be special." So inside the space, parents can relax in the hydro massage chair, doze in a nap pod, and snack on fruit and granola bars. Pulley also goes out of her way to pamper and style postpartum moms and sleep-deprived dads at no charge. She says, "We shampoo, blow dry, and give scalp massages on the second Wednesday of each month." And what a cool idea. I like that. So feel-good story of the day. And sometimes it's those simple things like, getting the hair done and having a little bit of that pampering when you're going through those rough situations, tough times. So let's welcome in Ray Hall Appraisals, back to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Hey, Ray.
Hey, Brandon. How you doing?
I'm blessed and highly favored, man. We dodged a bullet last week, I tell you that, and our friends to the south got hit. Did you have anybody affected that you knew of?
I do have, because I went to high school down in Port Charlotte, so I do know quite a few people down there, and I've actually got friends in Fort Myers and that area. So luckily, everybody is safe and nothing too horrible, but they're definitely needing some help down there, and just kind of trying to get cleaned up and get back to normal. But they're definitely having a tough time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And we just had Captain Will Smith on the front end of this show, giving us an update. He's been down there for the last 6 days, and really tough. But what do you think here in Tampa Bay, man? You see the real estate market. You hear a lot of people talking about, it's bad, it's turned, it's went so bad. I talk to expireds and canceled all the time every morning, and they say, we're just going to take it off the market since the market turned to crap or whatever. And I said, look, it's not the case. It's not the case.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it turn to, shall you say, crap. Are we probably going to have 20% increases like we did over the past couple? No, of course not. There is a change in the market, but, people have to kind of remember what we've been experiencing, especially since the beginning of COVID, isn't a normal market.
Right.
Just because it's not skyrocketing anymore, it doesn't mean it's gone to crap. It means it's adjusting to normal. It's funny how many people I talk to, and every time they hear I'm a real estate appraiser, there's a crash coming. The bubble's bursting and there's a crash. Well, really? Because I've been doing this 18 years and I don't know that. So where's your information coming from?
Yeah.
Folks have to remember, markets change. Markets go up and down. And in most of the areas that I appraise in right now, I haven't seen a down yet. I'm really kind of seeing a leveling off. I read an article the other day saying that, the Fed will probably lower or raise interest rates one more time and then, kind of halt on that. So if they don't raise the rates anymore, what's that going to do to the market? So are we just going to kind of stabilize and stay there? I mean, that's not a bad thing. Remember, in order to have a stable market, you got to have a good foundation. It's like building anything. Like I said, we've been spoiled the past couple of years. When people tell me now, interest rates are so high. Well, no, they're just not as low as they were.
Yeah, they're average.
Yeah.
I mean, that's average.
Yeah. I remember getting a mortgage at 7% for one of my houses at one point. Yep. So I think right now what we're seeing is a very knee-jerk reaction to a significant market change. And it's not necessarily a bad one. Again, I haven't, looking at the data in the reports that we do, I haven't seen a decline yet. We've definitely had a decrease in volume business-wise. But again, I think like anything, you see a car accident or something, you stop, you look, and you assess the situation. And I think that's what most people are doing right now. People are just kind of assessing what's going on. Right. And I have a feeling, honestly, people are going to get back into the market, and it's going to be business as usual for all of us.
Yeah, especially now, once we settle down from the hurricane. I'm looking at the Pinellas County stats here. Ray, we got Ray Hall on the show, Ray Hall Appraisals. We got an absorption rate of 83% in Pinellas County. That's 1,709 properties sold last month, divided by 2,059. 83% absorption rate, divide that by 100, that equals a 1.2 month supply of inventory. Super low inventory still.
Yeah. Yeah, they're still building houses in my neighborhood. I still see them building houses all over the place. And because we still had people come in. A lot of people also were waiting to see what was going to happen to the market before they started going out and buying real estate again. I know a lot of people who were doing that. And,
right.
I think right now is going to be showing, or the market we're getting into is going to kind of be the norm for the next several years. So you may have people getting back into that market now, especially those who did move down here. We heard about that big influx into Tampa, and they've been renting because they didn't know what was going to happen. So, we could see once these interest rates kind of level off and the market levels up, we could start seeing, a lot more purchases again and possibly even some more growth in new houses and buildings.
Yeah. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that move from Southwest Florida. They're going to be moving up here, or even other parts of the state. I mean, Seminole County got hit pretty hard, Jacksonville. People are going to move here. And by the way, in case you're wondering, that was Pinellas County we just did. Pasco County, 74% absorption rate, 1.35 months supply of inventory. By the way, Hillsborough County, 71% absorption rate, 1.41 months supply of inventory. So yes, it's still a great market. It's not quite as hot as it was 6 months ago, but it's still a great market. I mean, if we were to just pick this up, slap it in the middle of whatever month, years ago, people would say, wow, I can't believe it, 1 to 2 month supply of inventory. So when you think about a balanced market, it's 5 to 7 months. And then anything over 7 months is considered a buyer's market. So we're on the complete opposite end of the spectrum at 1.3, 1.5 months supply of inventory, Ray.
Exactly. And for those of you who aren't in real estate, just so you know what an absorption is, that's them buying up the inventory. That's the percentage of the inventory that they're buying up. So there's still a really active market out there.
Right.
So it's if you're waiting, if you're waiting for the crash, trust me, it's not now. Myself, I have investment properties here in Tampa, and I'm looking elsewhere because the market's still so high here and it's still so hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
Let's talk a little bit about. So, Ray,
Sure.
we initially were talking about residential properties and residential game, but you do a lot of other stuff. What are you seeing on the commercial market, Ray?
I've had an increase in my residential business lately. Commercial is a little different than residential. It's more of the numbers tell the story, and that's the way they are. Whereas, as you know, with residential, there's a lot of emotion involved in the buying and selling of a home. Commercial, in my experience, now remember, when I started appraising in 2004, I was a residential appraiser, and then I switched over to commercial back in 2006, and was primarily a commercial appraiser from 2006 2011. But I find that the commercial stays a little more steady. Like I said, because the numbers involved are a little different. But we did have that time period where people weren't using offices. I haven't seen any significant increases or decreases in commercial values, but I think that kind of remains to be seen now that our lives are getting back to normal. It's definitely more of a post-COVID type environment out there, especially here in Florida, maybe not in other places. So we may see some changes in the commercial market coming up.
Yeah, and also new home constructions have slowed. Can you talk about that dynamic, the builder indexes and the new home construction and the supply chain? What do you see on that side?
Sure. Well, that's exactly why the Federal Reserve was increasing interest rates. That was their whole game plan, and nothing wrong with what they did. And what's happening is now that new construction is slowing down, the materials used in construction aren't in as high demand, which means lower demand, prices come down, and that's how they're trying to kind of fix the inflation. Honestly, it's not a bad thing that new home sales or new home construction is lowering down. It does kind of indicate that the residential market is going to be slowing down a little bit, but there's still plenty of houses available. If you're looking to sell your house, that's actually a benefit to you. Because that means there's less competition out there for negotiations on the sale of your home.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And so we covered a lot here. Ray Hall Appraisals. Let's keep rolling into other asset classes because I like to show the depth of your knowledge when it comes to real estate. So let's also talk about vacant land development. What are some of the main considerations when you think about buying vacant land, developing vacant land, building a building? Talk about setbacks and all those different aspects.
There's a lot that goes into developing a piece of land. A lot of people just, I had an incident in Tampa where I had turned down an appraisal because he was trying to tell me that he had a single-family lot, but he'd be allowed to put 10 units on it. And he was trying to base his value on that or the value he thought. Folks, it's not that easy. There's a lot of permission you have to get. There's a lot of hoops to jump through before you can develop a piece of land. And sometimes even your zoning. If your zoning maybe allows a multifamily use, there's other things that are going to come into play. Access from the roadway. Are you going to have to build acceleration and deceleration lanes for entrances? Can the roadway handle more traffic? Larger development. Now you're looking at schools, impact on the local commercial, things like that. So there's a lot that goes on. You should always educate yourself on building a team and then have them do the investigation for you. You're going to want to get an attorney, a real estate attorney. You're going to want to talk to an engineer. You're going to want to quote out site prep companies, things like that. If you're looking to develop land, maybe you have a builder who's going to put the houses on it, but they don't build the roads. You've got to have a site prep company that comes out and does the leveling and builds the roads and puts in the infrastructure like sewer and water, electric. So there's a lot that goes into it. So that's kind of why that raw land is so much cheaper than land that maybe has entitlements for construction, because they've already taken on a probably, $100,000 to $200,000 in cost just to get the okay from the local government to be able to put a development there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then you talk about soil testing. You might test the percolation to make sure it's draining properly. You talk about topography, wetland delineations. If you're getting a boundary survey, they're going to do a wetland delineation to figure out, if there's lowlands versus what part is buildable, what part's highland. About a minute left, my friend. Back to you, Ray Hall Appraisals.
Yeah, one thing also, trees. You got to be careful of the trees on there. So, like I always say, with any kind of real estate purchase, whether it's a single-family home, a single-family lot, or 20 acres that you want to put a development on, just become an educated consumer. That's why you're listening to this show. That's why you're interested in what we have to say, because you want to be an educated consumer, because that's how you have more successful investments and more successful deals, and quite honestly, just a happier life. So educate yourself, build yourself a team of educated professionals, and then go into there, know what you're doing, and see some success in the real estate market. That's definitely the best way to approach it.
Absolutely. And Ray, go ahead and give your offer for your owner's use appraisal if you're still doing those.
Oh, absolutely. So if you're looking to sell your house and you just want to kind of get a basic appraisal for your eyes only on what you think you can get for it, we can certainly do that for you. We don't even need to come out and do an inspection. We can work with you to get photos. And we charge about $200 for that appraisal. And you can call my office at 813-452-5369. Or check out my website at rayhallappraisals.com.
rayhallappraisals.com. Thanks, Ray. Appreciate you, man. Good stuff.
Thank you. Take care, Brent.
We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. I want to thank our expert contributors, all of our show producers, Brian and Nick, everybody behind the scenes putting it together. And please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.